Welcome, David Owen.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
You're the newest member of the Monarchs.
I am.
You've been with the group since 2009. That's
right.
11 years.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about your position with the Monarchs.
Well, my position with the Monarchs, I'm one of the singers next to Craig. It's an honor to be in the Monarchs. It's a historical group, been around 60 years, and that's a long, long time. And it's just an honor, and to see the fans and everybody that comes out and sees the Monarchs and supports the Monarchs and buy the merchandise. We all thank you very much for that. We really do.
Give us a little bit of your history in music prior to the Monarchs.
Well, my history in music goes back a long way. I grew up in a musical family. My mother played the organ. She passed away a few years ago, but she played the organ at the funeral home. I am in the funeral home business. And Mom and Dad met at a funeral. That's another story we can talk about someday. But Mom's musical. My sister has a degree from the University of Louisville, Linda. And she sang voice for the University of Louisville in the music department. She went to across the pond, as they say, and she sang opera in London and surrounding places of England. So she's honored of that. She came back to Louisville, started a little music shop here in Indiana. She did that, and she decided she wanted to be in the funeral business, so she does the funeral business now, and she's somewhat retired now. But we're a musical family. Dad couldn't hold a note. But that's how I got into music. My grandmother loved the Beatles. She thought the Beatles were the greatest thing in the world. So I can remember watching Ed Sullivan on television at nighttime with my grandmother. And I just got the music in my blood watching the Beatles. And so I got in a group years and years and years ago. We practiced in the basement of our house in Audubon Park. And right now, the drummer of the Monarchs, Jeff McAllister, the group was called the Raspberry Cream. And the Raspberry Cream practiced in my basement. Didn't play out too much, played for maybe some company parties for Christmas. But Jeff was the drummer back then. That's how Jeff and I knew each other, because we went to Durrett High School together. And so that all went on. Then I was in a group called the Leaves Incorporated. We started playing some skate rinks around the Louisville area, Oklahoma skate rinks, things like that. And so after that, I got in a group called Shag. And Shag was a group that was out of the Joni Agency. And they were kind of like a Chicago band. We had horns, we had a trombone player, we had trumpet and sax. And we were doing the pop music of Chicago and Blood, Sweat, and Tears and things like that. And I was playing keyboards and I carried around the big 3 organ. That was really great to hear and the sound, but it was hard to carry. But we carried that around, and I played organ and I sang. And so and I got in a group called the Fanatics. So Shag broke up, came into the Fanatics, and I got drafted by their agent from Joni Agency, Earl Shelb, and I had to audition for that. And I auditioned for it, and I got the job. And so all of a sudden, the Fanatics had a lead singer, Dave Hammond. So Joey Etheridge was playing keyboards and singing, but Dave Hammond was the lead singer. And so I had 2 jobs. I played the organ and I sang lead. And then later on in the years, I got a trombone that I played at Durrett High School. In the marching band, I brought the trombone out, and I played also in the Fanatics with the trombone. So Fanatics were around over 30 years, played a lot of places throughout the state, traveled a little bit, not much. A lot of proms at 2 in the morning, playing one prom and then packing up and going doing another prom for the breakfast at 2 or 3 in the morning and getting home about 6. Fanatics were well known back then. It was a lot of fun to sing with them, be with them. We carried our own equipment up to Bella, Louisville, down to Bella, Louisville. It was a long time. We finally broke down, got roadies. And then the band kind of disbanded. We had a female singer. We were always guys. Some of the guys left, retired. We had female singers. And at the end, everybody just kind of went their own separate ways. And so I was away from music for a while. Don't remember how long it was.
So I didn't hear the Wolf Brothers mentioned. Weren't you on the road?
I forgot about the Wolf Brothers. I apologize. I was in the Wolf Brothers. So I was in the Fanatics, and then I was in the Wolf Brothers for a while, and it was probably the best experience of my life. Fanatics was great. I learned a lot through them, through Earl, because we had to wear special suits and things like that for prom. But with the Wolf Brothers, I was on the road with Paul and Mike Fess and Billy Grinstead, and there was the 4 of us. They used to be 5. They had a girl singer. That group broke up. So I was in the Wolf Brothers playing all these keyboards. I looked like someone from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I had keyboards all around me and a mic, and I was singing. There was just 4 of us singing. And the Wolf Brothers was a great band to be in for a year. I had never left home, going through a divorce. My dad that owned the funeral home said, if you're going to do this, you better go do it now. So I did. I quit the funeral home, quit all the things I did, and I went on the road with the Wolf Brothers. I have a scrapbook with every key of a hotel I stayed in the whole year of the Wolf Brothers, every hotel. And we traveled in Tennessee and Arkansas and Indianapolis and Louisville and down in Lexington. So we had a great time. I've learned a lot of things. I got some great pictures, great memories of those years. And as I tell Paul Cunningham, once you're a Wolf Brother, you're always a Wolf Brother. I still have my outfit. We had like 4 outfits. We had a white one with fringe on it, looked like Elvis with the WB on the belt. I had the black studded one, so it's got black studs throughout it. I could maybe get my leg in it, maybe pull it up a little bit. I don't know if I could get the whole thing around me, but I gained some weight, and that's okay. I'm glad I've gained weight because I had been sick. But besides that, I had a great experience with the Wolf Brothers, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
So the girl singer that you mentioned that was with Wolf Brothers, she has an interesting job now, doesn't she?
She's great. She sings with Brenda Lee, Vicki Carrico, and Vicki's a sweet girl. Don't see her very much anymore, but I always try to look for her on YouTube or on anything concerned with Nashville or country music, because I love country music. I love all kinds of music. But yeah, Vicki's a great girl. She was a great singer.
What national acts have you performed with the Monarchs and with these other groups?
Well, I've been with Bo Diddley, Peter Noon, Herman Hermits did him, Three Dog Night, Tommy James, the Shondells, Chubby Checker. I've seen a lot of people that we've backed up in the groups of the Fanatics and the Monarchs. And I have a funny story about Peter Noon. My Peter Noon story is, that was back in the Fanatics days. We backed him up, so his musical director sent us these charts, and we all rehearsed it and did all that. And Peter flew in that day, and it was for the Kentucky State Fair. And so we went through the rehearsal and got through all that. Well, Peter wrote me a check, and unfortunately the check wasn't any good. And so I had a bounced check from Peter Noon of Herman's Hermits, which I actually made a photostatic copy, and I have it in my basement still today. I've made it out to the Fanatics, and he sent another check. And so we got paid for it. But for some reason it bounced, had his address. I don't know if we can go to California, maybe look him up. Maybe it's still his address, who knows. But that's my funny story with that. I'm a huge Three Dog Night fan. Had pictures of them. Unfortunately a couple of them have passed away. I always liked Three Dog Night. Always will like Three Dog Night. So we just had some great times backing up people. Down at the Horseshoe, they'd always have special people like Tommy James and Chubby Checker and things like that. So it was fun to meet people like that.
So you have a pretty wide selection of musical taste.
Yeah, I do.
Can you kind of run through that?
Yeah, if you just listen to my phone, I just downloaded a new CD last night by Larry Stewart from Restless Heart, the Christmas album. And it's a great album. And I love country music. I love today's music. Not into hip hop too much, the oldies music. All the 80s music of Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Chicago, things like that, Uriah Heep, things like that. Go back to Looking Glass to Brandy. I can remember singing at Toys for Tots, WKLO Toys for Tots at Freedom Hall, playing the Horseshoe on Saturday night, loading it all up, going to Freedom Hall and spending the morning in the parking lot sleeping. And then we load in, I remember seeing Looking Glass playing there. I remember the Monarchs played there, and a lot of the great groups, Soul Incorporated. So there were a lot of great times. I love gospel music. I'm friends with Brian Free and Assurance. Brian and I are very good friends. I've sang with them before. It's an honor to sing with a gospel group. I have other groups that I've known down in Nashville that I talk to or email to, Jeff Harper with the Harper Agency. So I love all kinds of music. And like I said, look at my phone. I got everything. Anything you can imagine I got on there because I like listening to it.
You're also a local businessman, right?
I am a local businessman. As soon as when I got out during high school in 1972, my dad says, you're going to come work for me. And so my parents had Owen Funeral Home here in Louisville. And they started down on 26th Street. And then he built Dixie Highway in the early 60s. I got out of school in 72, like I said. And then I started washing cars and windows and cutting grass by hand with trimmers and things like that, and worked my way and got my license in 1975. And so I've been a field director since 1975 and still today. Mom and Dad have passed away. My sister is a little under the weather. I bought her out, so I own the companies now with Owen Funeral Home Dixie and Owen J-Town, part of Highlands Funeral Home. And so that's been my life as a funeral director. I like helping folks. I like doing things for people. I'm on a lot of community boards, Coles Charities, Coles Shrine Temple. I was a past potentate, Harbor House of Louisville, just all kinds of things, Shively Area Ministries. I'm always helping people, trying to do things for people. So I enjoy doing that. Mom and Dad taught me to give back, and so I do give back. That's one thing I'm proud that I do. I'm happy to help people.
When I think of you, I think of Corvettes, motorcycles, and race cars.
Yeah, well, I was into race cars for a while. Sponsors of them. Drove one time at the old Louisville Speedway. Enjoyed the race cars. Had some friendships. Won some championships at the Louisville Speedway in the late model division with the Gardner brothers. Love the Corvettes. I still have one Corvette left, a 67 big block, 427 car. And I still have that. I have a 56 Chevy, and the motorcycle, since I've been ill, some of you might know I was ill, I haven't ridden my motorcycles yet because I'm just not 100% strong enough to do it, but I've come a long way, and I'm cancer-free, Lord willing, today, so that's a great thing, and we bless the Lord for that. But haven't ridden the motorcycles much, but maybe someday I can. Maybe someday I'll sell one and get a trike. That's a three-wheel bike, so maybe I'll get one of those, and Pam can ride on the back, and we'll ride off in the sunset someday.
Didn't the Beach Boys borrow some of your Corvettes one time?
I think they did, yeah. It's been used for pictures and things like that. It's been used for proms, and that was a 61 Corvette. It was a convertible. It was black with a red interior and silver coals. And just, I got all kinds of things. Band pictures have been made with them and things like that. So I love cars, like speed.
So how did you become a Monarch?
I became a Monarch. Well, one night the band, the Fanatics, had broken up. I hadn't played in a while, and we went to a fundraiser at the Gold House in downtown Louisville. And the Monarchs were playing. Well, again, Jeff McAllister and I, we've been friends for a long, long time. And so they said, hey, come up and sing a song. And at the time, I believe Butch Kaufman had already left, and it was just Craig singing and the rest of the guys. And so I went up and sang, I believe it was 2 songs. And so I didn't know that at the time that was probably my audition to the Monarchs. And so I got a call maybe a couple of weeks later and wanted to know if I wanted to have the job. And so I said yes. I miss the music. I love the music. I don't want to be a roadie again. My roadie days are over. But they have roadies now today with the Monarchs, and so it's an honor to be in the Monarchs, and that's how I got the job. So it was a lot of work to learn the things because I'd never been a front singer like Craig. Always behind the keyboard, so I was kind of hiding behind things. But this one, no, I'm out front, so I've got to make sure everything looks okay and move on and sing and get all the words right.
So with the Monarchs now, you're much more of a front man.
True.
Or was that a new experience for you?
It was a very new experience. As I said, I was behind keyboards and things like that, and I was kind of hiding behind things. Well, now I'm out front. So it's a different thing. It was a different thing to learn. I had to learn a lot of words from the music's different from the Fanatics, from the old 70s, 80s songs. You know, we go back farther to the 50s and 60s. So had to learn some new things. I sing all the high parts, just about 90% of them all. So when you're hearing Sherry and all the little high stuff with the Beach Boys, well, that's me. And so I enjoy doing that. The Lord's blessed me to keep my voice through all my medical conditions I've had, and I can still sing those notes at almost 67 this month. And so I'm proud of that. But the Monarchs, they do a great job. We do a variety of songs, and Leon and everybody does a great job with their solos and things like that. And it's an honor to sing some of these ballads, which I've never sung before, and I like to have a challenge. And so those are challenges to me. I like to have a challenge of a song because I've never sang them before with the other things and the other groups. Where just, you know, they were some of them weren't easy. Chicago and Blood, Sweat, and Tears weren't easy, but some of it was easy. And so this is a challenge to me sometimes, and I like to have a challenge. I really do. But it's a great group to be in. We have a great time. Unfortunately, with things in the world today, you know, we haven't played as much as we have in previous years, but we're always glad to see each other, and we hope we get more jobs in 2021 on the 60th anniversary of the Monarchs.
So the Monarchs have kind of moved from being strictly a dance band into being more of a show band. Yeah. What was that like?
Well, that to me, that was very different because my first job, one of them was really, I believe it was out in Pee Wee Valley. That was my very first job. But then we did Derby Dinner over here in Indiana. And so that was a whole different thing. And so that night, that it was my year I joined the group. And so I had a great big check, and we made a fun thing out of it. And I was in the crowd, so the band started without me. And so the group just was going, and they go, wait a minute. And I'm yelling, I'm saying, hey, I want to join the Monarchs. I want to get in the band. And I had a fake check that said, I'll give you $1,000. And it said, payable to the Monarchs. And I signed it. And I'll give it to the Monarchs. I want to sing a song. So Leon said, well, come on up and let's give it a shot. So we gave it a shot. So that was my first night at Derby Dinner, but that was a show. So we're in the Fanatics and the Wolf Brothers and things like that. We were playing clubs, but we were doing some showy things in the Wolf Brothers. But this is really a show, especially at Derby Dinner and some of the other jobs. When we go to Mitchell, Indiana, and do the Opry House and things like that, we have to put on a show. Some people might dance in an aisle. But I remember one night at Derby Dinner, we had dancers on the stage. We had like the hullabaloo dancers, and that was kind of cool seeing that. But it's a whole different thing because you have to go to the audience. So we have wireless mics. So Craig and I will go out and see the people, and I'll kind of tease somebody, or Craig will tease somebody, and it's just a show. And that's what we want to do. We want people to have fun. We want to remember that night. If they got a trouble on their mind, we hope they forget it for the next 2 hours, and they have a good time with the Monarchs. And go, hey, we're going to come back and see them again somewhere. So we hope that the fans do that, and the folks that come see us at Derby Dinner, and we enjoy doing those kind of things too. Besides the dances are fun too, to see everybody dancing and have a good time. That's an enjoyable part.
To me, the Monarchs have devoted fans, but so do you as an individual. Are you aware of that?
I'm not too aware of that. I just enjoy what I do, and I appreciate people like the singing of the Monarchs, and they like Craig's singing, and they like my singing. And Craig does things different, and I do things different, and that's what makes the Monarchs unique today still. And we bring a lot of sounds and a lot of different songs and tunes. But I've got some people that, is David going to sing Unchained Medley tonight, or is David going to do Ebb Tide with Leon? And yes, we're going to do that. Lord willing, we'll do it. And I enjoy it. I have a CD out, and some of those songs are on there, and I'll sell them to folks and give the money to Cozair charities and things like that. But I appreciate the fans, and I appreciate everybody coming out and seeing us, buying the merchandise again. That means a lot. I've never seen that. The Fanatics and Wolf Brothers, we sold some things back then, but not like the Monarchs age. I mean, they just sell things all the time. And so we appreciate that, and it's fun to see people going out. I wear my Monarchs hat when I'm down in Florida, my little home down there. And so I wear it on the beach, so I hope somebody sees it, or I'll wear my t-shirt, and I'll wear it on an airplane or something. And people will say hi once in a while. Or people will say at the funeral home, people will say, oh, don't you sing in the Monarchs? I bet I've heard that maybe 25 times to 30 times this year, that people say, well, you sing in the Monarchs, don't you? And so I say, yes, I do. I thank you, but I'm here to help you. But that's an honor that they think of me through the Monarchs too. And it's just a great honor to be in the band and to do things and to sing at my age, to still be able to sing the songs I'm singing. And I'm limping a little bit through all my health troubles, but besides that, we're doing good, and we're looking forward to next year, 2021, and the 60th anniversary. And we just like to say thanks to all the fans and all the folks that come out and see us, and all the people that write us on email, and we appreciate everything. We really do. From all the guys in the band, hope to see you soon. Look homeward.